people worry, they act on impulse, and it's something that they need to do in a more controlled way.
You're listening to the Care Podcast, brought to you by Unique Senior Care. We're here to share honest, practical conversations to help you navigate your care journey. Today, we welcome Stacey, one of our client experience managers. Stacey brings a wealth of experience in being the first point of contact, bringing empathy and understanding to people whatever point they might be at in their care journey. So what kind of questions would you recommend somebody asks in that process of finding the right care provider?
Oh, that's really a list of questions, Jo. I think they've got to ensure that everything is in place before they pick up the phone to ask us some questions. So ensure that they've spoken to their loved one, making sure that they're okay with them calling on their behalf, making sure that they're in their own head, they're okay, they're having care put in place. Making sure that all of the other family members, like their siblings, for example, that making sure there's no family dynamics behind the scenes, so everybody is on the same page. If people aren't on the same page, it does cause a bit of friction, and there's a lot of toing and froing. And ultimately, it's their loved one that suffers in the meantime, because they obviously need care in place, but because it can't be decided or spoken about, should I say, it's a difficult situation for them then. But anybody that picks up the phone, I would always hope they've done all of their own due diligence by research. So making sure that that who they're speaking to, that they are regulated by the CQC, they are a fully managed service, that we do employ all of our staff. All of our staff are DBS checked to enhanced level. They're all reference checked on a personal and a professional basis. They've had experience in care before. That doesn't mean to say that we wouldn't employ somebody that hasn't had experience before, because you can tell a person that's very empathetic that would be the right fit for us.
So you mentioned DBS checks. Can you just explain, in case anyone doesn't know what that term is, what is a DBS?
So a DBS check is essentially a police check. So it checks potential carers' background, so whether they've had any prior convictions, so just to make sure that there's nothing untoward, and it's safe for us to put that care in place with our clients.
Brilliant. And anything else that you think someone should be particularly asking about to make sure their care provider has in place?
Yeah, so obviously there are questions like insurances. Are we insured? Lots of other questions that people ask for. What type of care do you provide? How do you match your carers? They will also ask about cost, any extras that we charge for. Everything is very upfront, completely transparent. Not only do we answer all those questions to them personally on the phone, every single question that they need answers to will be on our website as well. So we don't hide everything. Everything is out there for them to see. So everything as small as, are your carers allowed to take mum's dog for a walk, for example? Any simple little question, we will have the answers to.
Brilliant. And if they're worried about asking the right question, what would you say to them?
Yeah, there's never any worries on our part there, because we would then give them the answers to questions that they would never, ever have thought of. So we talk about what a carer can do for mum or dad in their own home, the types of different care, whether it's companionship, it's visiting care, but everything that they've forgotten to ask, we volunteer that information. So something that somebody could ring and expect that they're going to have a 10-minute phone call, because it's such a big decision, an important decision, a financial decision for their loved ones. It's not a conversation that you can have in 10 minutes. So we give them the information that they've forgotten to ask. So that phone call could take anything up to an hour. which is a great phone call if it takes up to an hour. It just means that we've given them all the tools, all the information, that they can go back, they can think about it, discuss it with other family members, because ultimately we're not there on the phone to pressure them into anything that they don't want to do. They need to take that away, have a think about it, and then come back to us when they're ready. There's always that time. They do need that thinking time as well. But on the other hand, you get family members that say, no, that's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. And then they go to the next stage straight away from there. But always no pressure.
And I guess sometimes life is really busy. You know, if you're working, you maybe have your own family to look after and then older relatives. So what if actually they don't have an hour to spare on the phone? Can you break that down and do it in a series of phone calls?
Yeah, absolutely. So I could have a phone call with them sort of 15 minutes. I can arrange to have another phone call with them at their own convenience. Like you say, they could be working, you know, got their own families, etc. But I would also follow that up with an email as well. So from what I have gained and gathered from that initial phone call, I will personally pick out pieces of information that will be useful for them within the body of that email. And it's in the form of a link that they can click on, which again takes us directly to our website where they will find the answers there. But I will 9 times out of 10 always rearrange another call when it's convenient for them. And it's just better all round. When they're more relaxed, it's a better conversation.
Great. Why is it important and absolutely okay for someone to ask a lot of questions?
Yeah, it's so important. It just ensures that the caller's had as much information as possible. They feel confident, reassured, and can walk away from that phone call knowing that they've been given more information than they thought that they needed, which again, they can then speak to their other siblings about, the person actually needing care, and they come back to us more confident as well when they need to as well.
And there's no such thing as a silly question.
Never, 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 never. Never a silly question, never a quick question. A quick question leads to quite a long answer sometimes. So, yes, any question is welcome.
And what else might they need to do to fully involve the person who's going to be receiving care potentially?
Sometimes we can have a family member ring us up, and I know that it's on loudspeaker, and it's the person that's needing care is there listening to the phone call themselves, and for example, the daughter can be asking me a question and you can hear the mum in the background sort of asking questions. So I would then, you know, sort of ask mum's name and I would speak to her. I would also speak to both of them, but direct the answers, the questions to her as well. So she feels fully involved with that as well. So, yeah, just make sure that you speak to your loved ones. They need to be involved every step of the way. It isn't something that you can take over unless somebody doesn't have capacity, where power of attorney obviously becomes involved there. But they have to be involved every step of the way.
If you could give one key takeaway piece of advice on this topic of questions to ask or how to involve the person who's going to receive care, what would that be?
My takeaway is always act on your instinct. Don't wait. If a client's not ready for care, just make some inquiries, just get some information on board, and or just pick up the phone. But just don't wait until it's a crisis, because it becomes panicked. People worry, they act on impulse, and it's something that they need to do in a more controlled way. We do appreciate that there are crisis point care that needs to be put in place, but please don't wait. Just pick up the phone, just get some information that you can use going forward for your loved ones in the future.
Great, thank you. Thank you to everyone for joining us. We hope that this episode has given you some confidence in navigating your own care journey. I've been Jo Cleary, host of the Care Podcast. We hope to see you next time.